For 50 years, the same sound never stopped. Somewhere on Earth, a radio station has broadcast the same sound every day for decades. No music, no voice, just one signal. What makes this signal truly terrifying is that nobody knows who is sending it. There is a radio frequency that has been transmitting a sound continuously for over 50 years. Not music, not a voice, not news, just a buzz, a low mechanical drone repeating every few seconds, day and night, without pause, without explanation. No one has ever officially confirmed who is broadcasting it. No one has ever explained why. And yet, right now, as you listen to this, that signal is still transmitting. It's called UVB76, but those who spend their lives listening to it have another name for it. They call it the buzzer. The frequency is 4,625 kilohertz. If you have a shortwave radio, you can tune to it yourself, right now, tonight, and you will hear exactly what people have been hearing since the 1970s. A buzzing tone, approximately 25 times per minute. Monotone, mechanical, relentless. It never stops for weather. It never stops for holidays. It never stopped when the Soviet Union collapsed. It never stopped during wars. It never stopped during power outages that cut electricity to entire cities. It just continues. For decades, amateur radio operators, called radio hams, have been tuning in from all over the world, from the United States, from Japan, from Germany, from Brazil. They record the signal, they analyze it, they share their findings in online forums that have grown into entire communities built around one question: what is the buzzer? And here is what makes this truly unsettling. In all those years, in all those recordings, in all that analysis, the answer has never been found. There have been guesses, theories, leaked documents, even rare, terrifying moments when the buzzing stops and a voice cuts through. A human voice, reading numbers, reading names, and then silence, and then the buzz returns, as if nothing happened, as if the voice was never there. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a documented, verifiable phenomenon that governments have refused to explain for half a century. And before this video ends, you will understand why some people believe that the buzzer is not just a radio station. It may be a dead man's switch, a signal designed to prevent something cat. To understand the buzzer, you need to go back to the final years of the Cold War. The year is 1976. The Soviet Union and the United States are locked in the most dangerous standoff in human history. Both sides have enough nuclear weapons to destroy civilization several times over. Both sides are watching each other constantly, through satellites, through spies, through an invisible web of radio signals stretching across the entire planet. It is inside this world, a world of paranoia, of secret codes and encrypted transmissions, that the buzzer is born. The first confirmed recordings of the signal date to 1976, though some researchers believe it began even earlier, perhaps as far back as the late 1960s. The signal originates from somewhere inside Russia. That much has been confirmed. Early radio triangulations pointed to a transmission site near the town of Povarovo, just outside Moscow. Later, the signal appeared to shift, relocating to a site near St. Petersburg. This movement itself raised questions. You do not move a broadcasting station unless something has changed, unless someone is watching, unless you are hiding. For the first decade, the buzzer was simply a buzz. No voices, no interruptions, no variation, just the tone, cycling through the darkness, crossing borders and oceans, reaching receivers in basements and attics, where curious men and women sat with headphones on, wondering what they were listening to. Then, in 1997, something happened. The buzz stopped. For a brief moment, seconds, there was silence, and then a voice spoke. In Russian, it said, "Ya, UVB-76, ya, UVB-76, Dla Mienia, UVB-76, which translates to, I am UVB-76, I am UVB-76, for me, UVB-76. And then the buzzing returned. That was it. No context, no explanation. The voice vanished. The signal continued. It would not be the last time. Over the following years, voices appeared several more times, always without warning, always briefly, always reading sequences of numbers and names before disappearing back into the drone. The names were the strangest part. Not codes, not coordinates, actual Russian names. Mikhail, Anna, Dmitry, Natalia. Names followed by numbers, and then silence. Researchers spent years trying to decode those transmissions. Most concluded they were orders, military commands encrypted inside ordinary language, sent to agents or units whose identities would never be known. But that explanation raised an even darker question. If the buzzer is sending commands, what is it commanding? And who is listening? There are three major theories about what the buzzer really is. Each one is more disturbing than the last. The first theory, and the most widely accepted, is that UVB-76 is a military communication channel, a number station. Number stations have existed since World War I. They are shortwave radio broadcasts used by intelligence agencies to communicate with spies and field operatives in foreign countries. The system is elegant in its simplicity. An agent in, say, Berlin or Washington or Tokyo tunes to a specific frequency at a specific time. They hear a sequence of numbers. They decode those numbers using a one-time pad, a physical code book that only they possess. The message is received. The mission continues, and no one listening can decode it without the pad. Under this theory, the buzzer's constant tone serves as a carrier signal, a way of saying, this channel is active, this channel is live. When a message needs to be sent, the buzz stops, the voice speaks, and the operative listening somewhere in the world receives their orders. It is clean. It is secure. It is almost invisible. Almost. The second theory is far more terrifying. It suggests that the buzzer is connected to a system called perimeter, known in the West as dead hand. Perimeter is a real system. It was confirmed by Russian officials in 1993. It is an automated nuclear launch system designed to detect a nuclear attack on Russian soil and, if Russian command is destroyed or unreachable, automatically launch a retaliatory strike without human authorization. The theory holds that the buzzer is one of the signals that perimeter monitors. As long as the buzz continues, as long as the signal transmits, the system knows that someone is in control. Someone is alive. Someone is watching. If the signal stops, if the buzzer goes silent, perimeter interprets it as a sign that Russian command has been eliminated, and the missiles launch. This would make the buzzer one of the most important sounds in human history, a constant reminder that civilization is still intact. The third theory is smaller, quieter, and in some ways, the strangest of all. Some researchers believe the buzzer has no purpose, that it began as a communication test, a frequency placeholder, a signal broadcast to prevent other stations from occupying that frequency, and that everyone who was supposed to remember what it was for has long since retired or died, and the machine simply continues broadcasting into the void because no one ever told it to stop. Which theory is true? The answer, if there is one, may lie in what happened on one specific night that changed everything. August 2010. It is a warm summer night in Russia, and at 7:58 in the evening, the buzzer stops. Not for a second, not for a voice. It stops completely. For the first time in decades, silence on 4,625 kilohertz. Radio operators around the world notice immediately. Forums light up. People grab their receivers. They tune in and they hear nothing. For several minutes, the frequency is dead. Then, barely audible through the static, a sound. Voices. Background noise. As if a microphone had been accidentally left open in a room somewhere. People are talking, not to the radio, to each other, unaware perhaps that they are being heard. And then, the voices stop, and the buzz returns, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened, because in those few minutes of open microphone, researchers captured sounds they had never heard before. Movement, doors, commands being issued, the ambient noise of what appeared to be a military facility. It was the closest the world had ever come to seeing behind the curtain, and it revealed almost nothing, just enough to confirm that somewhere, in some building in Russia, people are responsible for this signal. Real people, sitting in a room, maintaining a transmission that the rest of the world has been trying to understand for 50 years. Since that night, the buzzer has continued without interruption. It transmitted through the annexation of Crimea in 2014, through the COVID pandemic, through the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. In fact, in early 2022, just before Russian forces crossed the border, several observers noted unusual activity on the frequency. More voice transmissions than normal, more names, more numbers. Whether this was coincidence or coordination, no one can say. The Russian government has never officially acknowledged that UVB-76 exists. There is no press release, no explanation, no statement. Just the signal, continuing. Right now, at this very moment, somewhere in Russia, a machine is buzzing, or a person is maintaining that machine, watching a dial, checking a transmission, making sure the sound never stops, and we don't know why. We don't know what silence would mean. We only know this. In 50 years, it has never been silent for long, and somehow, that is the most unsettling thing of all. Not the sound, the fact that someone needs it to keep going. After 50 years, the signal still continues, waiting for someone to understand it.